All right, 99.9 Punk World Radio FM. You guys already know what time it is. And right here, we are joined by an individual that's a lead singer of the legendary band Objects. We got the Objects. We got Felony, Melony right here, live on the air and in the building. Felony, Melony, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you?
Doing best I can possibly be. I've been super excited for this interview. Like I told you, I've been a huge fan of your band since way back in the day. So the fact when I saw that you guys re-emerged into the punk rock scene, and now that I'm in the industry, I was sitting there like this. I was like, I gotta reach out. I gotta book them for an interview. I'm super stoked to hear that the Objects are back. And you guys are absolutely killing it. I saw some of that show footage, and you guys are back like you never left.
Thank you. I appreciate that. We were we missed it, so we had to come on back and let it all out again.
But I gotta say though, that show you did, I saw a couple clips from the punk rock museum aspect side of things, and like I said, you guys absolutely killed it. So I'm super excited just to see what is next from the Objects, because I know you guys have a lot of more great music in the tank.
Oh yeah, yeah. We're working on writing some new tunes right now. Hopefully something good coming out before the summer hits. Lining up some more shows here and there wherever we can. You know, getting involved with some other band members and other bands, and becoming, friends, befriending other bands, and hopefully this summer we'll be able to see what we can do.
And Felony, I gotta take you back to the year 2006, the month of April, where the band was actually formed. I was wondering if you can actually just tell us the origin story behind this iconic band. And of course, how did you actually get connected with the other members of this band as well? Because you guys go together like two peas in a pod. Like, you guys really have that chemistry when it comes to your guys' music.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I started the band a while back with a drummer that was in a different band at the time, and he ended up quitting that band and starting the Objects. I started it with a guy named Joe Perv, and he was formerly the drummer from the Pervs, and he and I joined he and I kind of started it, and he actually met my guitarist, Jim Nasty James, actually back when it was like MySpace, I think, still around. He put out an ad on there, and Jim Nasty responded, and they met up, and he and Jim Nasty hit it off, and he became our guitarist. We lost Joe after 2 years of the band's beginning parts of the band. We lost him, and we happened to have a fan that would come to all of our shows. His name's Chili Joaquin Espinoza, and he was a fan of our band, and he loved our music, and he came up. He was hanging out, watching us play shows before we can even, before he was even 21, and he would see us at an all ages show, but we were kind of like an X-rated band, so we didn't do many all ages shows. But when he became 21, we needed a drummer, and he auditioned, and we brought him on. And shortly after that, we had Allie, 2 times Allie, bass player, amazing girl, one of the original members of the Killers before they got really, really big and famous. And just all of us together combined just made this band really cool. And we traveled, and that's when we entered in the Afro-punk scene and got into all of that, and did some shows in New York and traveled all around, got to see Ireland, all these things in England and all of that. So yeah, that was kind of the band. And then Allie decides to leave the band, and we got Ivan to replace her. And Ivan is a really badass bass player, really loves the heavy metal style. So he kind of brings that thunder to the band. And he and Chili are really good friends, and they've been friends for many, many years. And they've been pals. So he kind of came in under the wing of Chili, and the four of us together just feel like we're family, and it's just dynamic, and we gel really good as musicians together. And yeah, we all have kind of the same, mental capacity and path that we want to take and journey that we want to take. 10 years ago, we weren't ready for this, and we thought we knew what we were doing, but our egos got in the way. So we had to take a pause and let the music marinate, and then come back and reconvene once we were mature enough mentally and emotionally and physically to do music.
And also as well, I know you talked briefly mentioned about touring and whatnot and going all over, but one of the tours as well that you actually had was all over the states, where you actually had the opportunity to When you recently recorded your then demo Bound and Gag, you actually had the opportunity to travel all across the United States in support of that. I was wondering if you can actually just tell us the story, not just behind this legendary demo, but of course, what was it like just being on tour, getting to travel the United States so very early on in the band's history? Because you guys launched in '06, and not even 1 year later, you guys are touring all over the United States.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that kind of came with the territory of our drummer. He had a really nice van, and we were able to get it going because he was already used to doing that, going around doing tours and whatnot. And he had we had a force in that regard, and we had a van, and we just kind of went with it. It felt amazing. It felt like we were really doing something. We were covering some ground and getting some notoriety for what we were doing, and all the hard work that we were putting into it paid off. There was a little ups and downs on the road. Of course, all bands have it. The van breaks down. We had to get transmission work done to it. So we missed a couple of Northern California shows, but we were able to pick back up in Oregon and start all over again. And luckily, Jim Nasty, the guitarist, his family's from there. They're from Lorain, Oregon. So we were able to have a home to go to and a place to hang out, have some home cooked meals, and prep us for the rest of the leg of the tour to get back to Vegas from Oregon. And it was a great experience. I'm glad I took the trip. And it actually made us a better band because we were able to play more together live and do shows often. So many shows that we would literally only have 1 day off. And when we got back and played in Vegas after being on the road and doing the state tour, we were so gelled that we were just dynamic, powerful, supernatural force just from playing so much and being on the road together and gelling as a band.
And by the sounds of that schedule as well, when you guys did have a day off, it sounded like you guys were just touring in the bus anyway. So realistically, whoever was driving didn't really have a day off.
Right, technically, yeah. And luckily, the driver was did not drink, so it was always a DD as well. So it was a pretty safe situation with that one.
And also, you guys actually had the opportunity to ink a deal as well with Blue Pie Publishing USA in late '06. From what you actually can recall, how did the Objects actually get discovered by this publishing company? And of course, what was it like just working alongside them? Because I know they really pushed the Objects to the limit and really got as much as your content out there, because around that time is when I actually discovered you guys actually out here in Canada because of Blue Pie Publishing.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Well, our music was actually put into a dissertation film of Peter Pedrusky. He used a portion of our song Killjoy in his last, film that you do whenever you get ready to graduate from college and get your master's or get your degree in your field. And I feel like that publishing put us on the map from doing that as well, by having our music in his last dissertation film for his class that he graduated from, got master's and was valedictorian of his class. So I feel like with that kind of gave us a little bit of a forefront where people knew who we were by then by just hearing that, and that kind of got a little attention as well. And then Crown also got to see us. They really wanted us to do a tour, so we did a tour over in Ireland with Crown, based off of that as well. So thanks to Peter Pedrusky and putting our music in his film, which I feel catapulted that whole reign of that.
And when you said Ireland and whatnot, 'cause I know the Objects traveled all over the world, but how did overseas actually perceive the Objects music? Because I've heard that overseas, they literally take their punk rock seriously. Like people in the States and Canada do, but you go overseas, it's a whole different story, a whole different meaning
Yeah.
of love when it comes to music with those guys.
Oh yeah. By the time we struck the first chord and I said the first note, they were in love. They were completely enthralled with us. They were very happy that we came. They were thanking us for coming. There was a lot of people that haven't even met Americans before, and they had a preconceived notion of what they thought Americans were like. And when they met us, they said, "Man, you guys really, took us by storm. We did not expect this. We thought you would be arrogant and rude and stuck up. We thought you'd be like pompous assholes, but you guys are actually really good and you're super cool too." So they took on to us very well, and they were very happy that we came because we came so far. In fact, we played in Mullingar, and just before we went up the road, we were already in Dublin, and we were staying there in Dublin. And a friend of ours said, "Hey, be careful when you go to Mullingar. You know, people get wild there." And I said, "Okay." And I went there and got up on stage, and I announced everybody to get up on the stage, and started a mosh pit on the stage. And a guy comes up, starts moshing. His elbow hits my microphone. My microphone goes back into my mouth, chipped my tooth, and Mullingar. So, yeah, they do take that hard part, that punk rock hardcore.
But hey, at least it's a memory. I mean, it's not a good memory, obviously, because you chipped your tooth. But I mean, it just shows right there just how hardcore they really are out there in Ireland.
Mhm. Yeah, oh yeah, yeah. They take it to the max. We got to meet some all-girl band. They were called Vag at the time, and I'm not sure if they're still around, but yeah, they got to stay with us. They showed us movies, like all the movies that the Irish people watch about music and film. Like I think they showed The Contestants or the command, one of those blockbuster films about music, and it was really cool. It was just a lot of fun.
And also as well, the Objects actually won the Vegas Rocks Award for best punk rock band in the year 2010, and was also nominated the following year at the Hollywood Music Awards for best alternative song. I was wondering if you can actually just tell us a bit more about your guys' award wins throughout the music industry, and of course, what was it like just being honored by the Las Vegas Music Awards? Because that's a very big and amazing accomplishment for any band to win.
Right. Yeah, that was amazing. That had to come with Sally Steele. She was the Vegas Rocks magazine creator, producer, and she kind of came up with like a vote of all the bands that were all, included in Vegas, and kind of list every single band. And it just seems like, she kind of put on this contest, and it feels like that we were the most mentioned, the most brought up, the most talked about. So when we got the award, I had no idea. I was very, very shocked that we won, because I didn't think that we were that great of a band to win such an award, and to actually win. It was like, wow, it was like standing beside myself, and I was very happy about it, and I was very excited, and I was very thrilled that what we created was able to get an award, when I didn't even think that we were in the league of that. So a lot of it was kind of it was refreshing, the whole thing, just amazing feeling. And the shock of it all was just amazing as well.
And also the Objects, in my opinion, like this band that you guys created in a whole has just made such a lasting impact within punk rock. Your guys' style was one of a kind. Your music was one of a kind. You really had that image. Even the music videos, just like the X-rated stuff that you guys actually incorporated into the punk rock, I found really stood out just punk rock wise. I remember a lot of the times when I watched your videos, I was younger at the time. I had to hide it from my parents. I was like, you know what I mean? What you watching? Nothing? Nothing else?
I love it. I love it. I love to hear it. And that's absolutely amazing. Yeah, when we created all the music, we were just actually, a lot of the songs came from my diary. I journal a lot, and I write a lot about my life, and there was a lot of things that were going on at the time that I was kind of angry about and upset about, and just wanted to let it out, and just wanted to say, hey, what was on my mind. I wanted to say everything that other people were thinking that they were afraid to say. And when I talked to Gymnasty about this, we went over the journal, and we were able to write a lot of the songs from this journal.
And I think that right there is why the Objects got recognized by the Las Vegas Music Awards and had so many opportunities so very early on, because like you said, everything was just so unique about the Objects, in my honest opinion.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. It's like we wanted to be different. We wanted to be that one that stands out and not be like the crowd. We didn't want to be the cookie cutter bands that were coming out around that time. We wanted to be something different. We wanted to be just in your face, roller coaster ride, punch you in the mouth, and just keep on going with a big smile. And I felt like that's
And
what the
also,
music did. Yeah. Mhm.
one of my favorite albums actually dropped May 30th of 2014, that actually is called A Supercharged Little Nova. I was wondering if you could actually just tell us a story and inspiration behind this amazing album. And of course, is it actually still out there to be streamed or purchased today? Because I'm going to be honest, I haven't even looked if see if it was on streaming services, because I still have my CD copy from years ago. So, I mean, if you already own the hard copy, there's no point in looking on Spotify.
Well, actually, we do have it on YouTube. You can find it on YouTube, the Supercharged Little Nova. Supercharged Little Nova came to be when we were on the road talking about, ideas on the road. Something came to me. People say we were force. People say that we have energy, our energy on stage. I have a tattoo here of a lightning bolt. I love lightning bolts. I don't know if you can see that or not, but I have lightning bolts. I even wear one around my neck. I really love lightning bolts, and I wanted to do something that was kind of like pertain to the galaxy or pertain to what we were going to bring. And I was watching some type of show about astronomy, and it was really trippy. We were talking about supernovas and things like that. And I said, you know what? We could be just like that. We could just be like a supercharged little nova. It's kind of like that's what the music is. It's supercharged and it hits you like a supernova, but at the same time, it's little because it's coming at you from like a sneaky way or like a way you wouldn't expect. And Gigi actually was the name of the song. However, when we put it out on Spotify or where the outlets where it is, they seem to have changed the name to that, and that was actually the name of the album. The name of the song is actually called Gigi, and it's an ode to Gigi Allen. It's a song about him and a song about his life and how crazy he was and how he felt like like pretty much how he felt in this world, being different and being out there and no one understanding him and him having to go through so much extreme things to get attention. So the song's really about Gigi Allen.
And also, as well, in the year 2014, the same year that this record dropped, you guys, disbanded, suddenly leaving many wondering why. And I do know me as a fan, I always wondered why. And I do know a lot of the fans, since they saw me book this interview, they're like, you have to ask this question. So not only myself, but many other fans are wondering what actually made the Objects decide to just, pack up and hang up the microphone and put the guitar back in the case.
Well, what happened was pretty much we were just all in different places mentally. We were all very exhausted, very tired. We were all our egos were getting in our way. Everybody in the band wanted to have something different. There was a, financial issue always with bands, and a lot of times that kind of makes more strain with the band. It brings more strain into the situation. And then we realized, the music, we're way too ahead of ourselves. We're 10 years ahead of schedule, and maybe people won't appreciate this right now, but they'll appreciate it down the road. So we'll just hang it up for now and see where it lies years to come. And when we lost our Ally 2 times, when we lost her, we said we had to bring it back just to have the spirit of it come back, and just because of the anger that surrounds death that we feel like we need to get that message back out there, and decided to get back in and play. We created something so unique, and we didn't realize what we had in our hands was gold. And we didn't even realize it until after we took it away.
And I know you briefly mentioned about how you guys reemerged within the music industry this year and revamped and brought back the Objects. If you don't mind me asking, how did that first band meeting actually come to be? Who actually sparked the conversation first? Did you guys just bump into one another on the street and kind of brought back some old band feelings, or was it just one message we gotta do this again?
It actually came in a group text. It was a total group text. I believe Chili was kind of the facilitator in the group text. Another friend of ours, Lucinda, that was a great fan of us and loved us, and we even practiced in her garage sometimes when we first started out. She came around and said, "Hey, you guys, it's been 10 years, and we didn't realize it's been that long." And then the 2 of them, and also Jim Nasty was included with, the group text, and Ivan, all of us were all included in this group text. And it kind of sparked from Lucinda saying, "Hey, you guys need a reunion show. You guys need to come back. I mean, have you listened to your music after 10 years? I mean, everything that you guys are saying seems to be happening right now, and your stuff's current." So we kind of had an opportunity to do it, and it just kind of like aligned just naturally. I reached out to Moss and I said, Moss is the owner of the Double Down Saloon in Las Vegas, and I know that every year they have their anniversary for the bar. So I said, well, if we do it, it'd be a good time to do it. It'd be people there for the anniversary. So I reached out to Moss and asked him, how do you feel about the Objects, doing a reunion show at the anniversary? And he says, hell yeah, definitely. So, and that's kind of like what sparked it. Once we got the date, we said, let's do this. Let's make it happen.
And first and foremost, I got to say, shout out to Chili for facilitating that and getting the objects back together. But when you actually mentioned the Double Down Saloon, I know that was just a matter of weeks ago. What was it like just being back on stage in your guys' element? Like, was it what did you guys just click like that again, or did
Yes.
you did it
Yes,
take a
we
little
did.
little minute to actually kind of get back into the groove?
Well, what we did, the guys, Chili and Jim came out, Jim Nasty and Chili came out to where I live. I live in a little city called Solvang, which is kind of like north of Santa Barbara. And I had a practice space with my other band that I'm in, a Motown cover band called the Soul Cats. So they came up and used my studio, and we were able to, dust the cobwebs off, a couple practices in October. Once we got the date, they came up here and we practiced 2 days in a row. And I got to tell you, I was so rusty that first practice. I had to write some of the lyrics down, but after I listened to the music again, it all came back, and I studied the music. And then the second practice was just like really like it was like riding a bike. It was a little hard at first. That first day was very struggled with the lyrics and everything, but that second day, after studying the music and practicing the lyrics and writing things down and just kind of getting back into that groove again and just listening to it for hours on end all day until I'm tired of it. That second practice was much more like a show. It felt more like getting right back into it, like bounce back, like a
Yes.
bounce back feeling. And then when we had the date for the Double Down show, I showed up 4 days or 5 days prior to the show at the Double Down. I showed up on a Monday, and we had 3 times to practice before the show. So that was like really getting gelled and really getting back into it. And every practice we played like we were playing the show. So with those practices and working really hard to sound good, I felt like when we did the show, it was just like it was just like it used to be. Like it felt just like how it did back then. Like no time has changed really. But my muscles felt it. My arms, my arms felt it. All my muscles felt it. My legs and my muscles and everything felt it. But other than that, it felt like just like riding a bike.
And obviously, since the objects are back doing shows, reunited, seems to be going better than absolutely ever. Will there actually be another Objects album in the foreseeable future? And if so, what can the fans actually expect from this up and coming record release when the world does get to see a new Objects record?
Well, we're hoping we're gonna just put some fillers out, like I said at the beginning of the year, as far as writing some new music. And we all got songs. My guitarist got songs. I got songs. Chili's got songs. Ivan's got ideas. I mean, we all got ideas, and we're just gonna see what we can do at the beginning of the year, beginning of next year, and maybe put something together. At least maybe release something, hopefully before summer or right at summer. But we are looking to write and looking to get these songs out. We just don't want to die with the music in us. Got to let it out. So we're
And
hoping.
when you said there's actually ideas, I have to ask because obviously there's been 10 years of a gap since the objects have released new music. If you don't mind me asking, are these ideas is it actually the same sound as what fans remember the objects as, or is it a little more mature and a little bit different sounding? The ideas that you guys currently have cooking in the pot for
Yeah,
next year.
I mean, I want to be current and I want to be modern, but at the same time, I still want to have that classic musical feel to it. Topics that are current will probably be in there. What's happening around me today will probably be in there. But definitely the music will stay classic, will stay fast. And I, believe it or not, we don't have one slow song. So I mean, if anything, we probably have Eat This or Killjoy is probably the slowest song we have. So I would like to attempt a punk ballad. That would be something fun to do and see how that turns out. But we have songs that kind of start off slow and go really fast. So that would be something I'll be looking into, something more like one slow song.
But also, what is next for not only yourself, Felony, Melony, but the rest of the Objects as well? Obviously, you guys are doing shows, like you mentioned. We just spoke about the potential of brand new music. But is there anything we happen to miss during this evening's interview? Anything else you still want to talk about, touch on, or promote? Well, we still got you here live on the radio station airwaves tonight.
Awesome. Yeah, sure. Our next show is going to be on December 15th, Friday at the Las Vegas Punk Rock Museum. We're going to be doing an event for Afro Punk Festival. The show will start at 8 p.m. and I'm not sure how the ticket process is about that, but if you would reach out to Las Vegas Punk Rock Museum website, there should be something on there about getting tickets for that, or even reach out to afropunk.com and see if there's anything about that on there. And we also have an IG, the Objects, all together. THEOBJEX, no space. You can reach out to us through there or DM us as well on Instagram.
And I gotta say, Melony, thank you so much for giving not only myself, but the radio station airways a bit of your time here this evening. It was such an honor to speak with you and just talk about this phenomenal band that you guys created in '06. And of course, so happy just to hear that you guys are back and better than ever. As a fan, I'm really excited and stoked just to actually hear what comes next from the Objects. But again, thank you so much for your time. It definitely was an honor chopping it up with you.
Yes, absolutely. And you can hit me up anytime, and I'll definitely reach out to you and keep you in the loop when anything comes up.
Sounds good. And of course, when the new music does drop, definitely send it my way, and I will literally get it spinning in the radio station airwaves, no questions asked. If you send it, we here at Punk World Radio FM are definitely going to spin it.
Rock and roll. I like that. I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I appreciate you as well. You're most certainly welcome, Melony. Definitely have yourself a phenomenal night, and I'm pretty sure we definitely shall talk soon.
All right. Sounds good, man. Have a great night, too. Thanks for having me.